Welcome to an awesome Blender Python programming exercise. Today I'll teach you how to programmatically animate random objects in Blender by using Python. You'll find this useful whenever you want to generate background videos or wallpapers like the current video. This is actually the foundation of many awesome projects. If you'd have to do this manually in Blender, it would take a very long time. We'll be generating random cubes spammed at random positions. We'll give each of them a random color to make them more interesting, and of course each cube will be animated to a random. So let's get started by creating a new file. Then let's go to the scripting mode. Then we will select all these nifty things here, so we get syntax, highlighting, and everything we'd ever want when we type our project. Create a new script file. Let's name it random cubes. And of course, let's start typing our code in. First, we want to import BPI, then importing the random things. Now let's define our main function. It's always interesting to use a main function. So now we will define 70 cubes. So now we'll add a function each time. We'll go over the add box function next. What add box actually does is it's going to create a new primitive for us, a new cube. So we're going to add a location. It's going to be a random location from -10 to 10. We're going to do this for all axes. Then we're going to select the object which we just created from the context. And next, we're going to create two new functions: the object random location animation and the random color function. Object. Now let's define the random location function. Here we'll define an empty array of positions. Then we're going to iterate for about 9 times to add random positions to it. And we're going to copy the same random we used here. What this actually does, it creates an XYZ random location. Now let's iterate over each position in the positions, and we will add a new frame set. For each frame, we'll add a position, and we will add a location to that position, so it moves around automatically. We first start by adding the frame set. Frame number. Yep, first let's add a frame number from 0, so it always gets set again. Then object location is the position. Then we insert the keyframe. Yes, data path. And then we increase the frame number. You can do it every 20 or 30. I find 30 times best in this particular exercise. That's beautifully defined. And now let's see how everything works. First, we're going to save this example. I'm going to save it. Yeah. Or give it just random cubes blend. Okay. Now let's deselect the camera. Let's delete the first cube. Let's deselect the camera and the lamp. Now before we run it, we will need to run the main function. Save it, Ctrl S, and then Alt P to run the function. So it has generated our cubes. If we hit Alt P again, it's going to generate another round of cubes, which should be visible. Of course, the more cubes you add, the slower it's going to get. Now, if you go back to the default view, and if you play the animation, you're going to see that they move. So, whoa, pretty awesome considering we've only typed a few lines of code, right? So now let's add a random object color. This time it's going to be pretty easy. We create a new material for each object and we add a random color. You're going to see first we create a material, BPI data. We can also use the options materials, but then we won't get returned the material, so we need to select it manually. We always need to name it, so we'll call it random cube material, and then we're going to transform the I into a string. That's actually the number that it gets run here. So it's going to be random cube 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then we append this to the object. The material gets appended, and then we actually add a diffuse random color. And now we're going to do random. Now you're going to see you get fairly different colors. What you can do here is create a list with your favorite maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 colors and then iterate a random color from a list. But for this time we will just say this is enough. Now, and let's delete all the cubes and forgot the column to end it. Now let's run. You can see now let's run, and as you can see, yep, it has generated everything. Let's go to our default and play the animations. This is pretty interesting, right? Cubes moving around. You can add more or less frames. You can do anything you want. At this point, what's left to do is just create an animation out of this, like the one I've created. I hope you've enjoyed this script. I'll post a link to the script. It's fairly easy. Fairly in 34 lines, including comments. We've generated random cubes that move at random positions. You can do this with any type of primitive or object, as long as you add. You can even rotate them. You can even change their sizes randomly. You can let them interact, crash to each other. So just let your imagination go wild with this one. And see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for viewing. Have a nice day.